Welcome to Dakhla, the southern Moroccan town where the Atlantic meets the Sahara. This dramatic desert location is the stage for the season's last call in the wave discipline of the GWA Wingfoil World Tour. The third and concluding stop is the Wave Tour's debut in Dakhla's iconic Point Break. Its long right-hand wave with challenging hollow sections offers the athletes an opportunity to showcase their remarkable surfing talents. The world's best male and female wingfoilers relished the chance and have journeyed to this remote venue with world titles on the line. We'll be crowning our first wave champions in Dakhla when the battles are done. A compact fleet of women are up for the challenge in Dakhla. The title fight is a three-way battle between former world champion Bowie van der Linden, the 16-year-old wingfoil sensation Nia Diaz, and veteran waterwoman Muna White. Van der Linden and White were the first to do battle in the smaller waves of the opening exchanges of the competition. Hawaii-based White was right at home in the peeling right-handers. She is naturally a regular rider, that is left foot forward, and so could surf the waves on her favoured front side. But van der Linden was not giving up without a fight. The pair went wave for wave, working the faces for all they were worth. Both riders had to pump the foils on occasion to extract the maximum amount of energy from the small swell and to give them the best ride. The rules of the wave contest forbid the use of power from the wings while surfing the waves. But even White, winner of the season's first tour stop, didn't always get it right. She crashed as she pushed for the win. And that left the door open for van der Linden. The Dutch woman's surfing is fast improving. She took a surprise win over White. The Bay of Lambour is a natural amphitheatre and the ideal location for elite level action. Next up was Spain's Nia Diaz, the Canary Islander Elena Moreno, and Oran Ceres, who hails from New Caledonia. The Spanish teenager Diaz showed immediately that she meant business. Wingfoil surfing is not her forte, as her home spot in Tarifa, southern Spain, does not provide waves for her to train in. But in Dakhla, her flowing display of surfing was ample demonstration that she's learning fast. Diaz is becoming a force to be reckoned with as she gunned for her third world title of the year. France's Oran Ceres is another athlete who doesn't have waves to train in regularly. But she was up for the challenge and took some risks to put on a show for the judges. So the showdown in the quarter-final was a battle between Muna White and Spain's Elena Moreno. Moreno hones her surfing at her home break on Fuerteventura. But Moreno was chasing the game in the fight against White. The Spaniard came to grief on one occasion as she pushed to stay on terms. But unfazed, she kept charging. In the end though, it was White's smooth carving and linked turns that helped her get ahead on the scoreboard. White's wave selection and surfing in the pocket, the critical section of the wave, where it's at its most powerful, impressed the judges. The American chalked up big scores to give her the win, and it set up a face-off against Nia Diaz in the semi-final. This crucial semi-final would be the World Championship decider. At this last stop of the season, it was a straight fight between Muna White and Nia Diaz, who have each won one event. Whoever came out on top in Dakhla would become world champion. Their meeting in the semi-final came earlier than expected because of Muna White's first round defeat. White's experience helped her put some solid numbers on the board, but still, she found herself trailing against the young Spaniard. At the end of the heat, Muna White got a wave that she worked all the way to the beach. It earned her a score of 6.9 and got her the win right on the buzzer. White would become our first wave world champion.
This event hasn't finished yet, so yeah, but for me, I'm so stoked to get the world title. Yeah, I thought it was gonna come down to the final, but the girls were just ripping this event, like Bojan and Nia. They were getting super high scores, doing solid turns in the airs too, which I didn't really quite get to do. Still learning that. So yeah, I was surprised to make it through in this heat and win the world title, but I'm super stoked.
The race for the third podium spot was a fight between Nia Suarez with her fluid, powerful style and Oran Seris. Seris did all she could to slow down her rival's progress. But the Spaniard was an unstoppable force. Her semi-final defeat only seemed to have lit a fire under her. She carved a path through the growing swells, turning the screw with ride after ride. As the recently crowned surf freestyle world champion, she also has a few tricks up her sleeve. Like this Air 360 on the face that earned her a big score. Seris knew that surfing was not her strongest suit and threw in the towel even before the buzzer, handing Suarez the win.
I got third place. It's not my best, but I'm still happy. My last heat was really good. I got a 9 and I did a 360, so I'm super happy.
In the final, Muna White came up against Bojan van der Linden for the decider in Dakhla. White had used the intervening heats to find her groove in the desert waves. She was riding smoothly with full commitment. Van der Linden put up a good fight but couldn't quite match her opponent. White showed why she's world champion, linking turns and carving in the critical section of the wave to earn the event win. So confirmation of the results: Nia Suarez in third, Bojan van der Linden from the Netherlands in second, and Muna White from the USA in first.
For me, this was the funnest wave event we've had. The heats were really long, 25 minutes. The waves were really beautiful, so I really enjoyed myself. It was really special to be out there with just one other person in the heat. And I'm really happy with my progress and also my results and how I rode. So it's for me a really good event.
The race for the men's title was wide open. The roster of 24 competitors contained all the top seeds in the wave discipline, who were placed after the first two events of the season. It was a mix of young guns and surfing veterans. The young Corsican rider No Koyala got his campaign off to a flying start in a battle with Xavi Kor and Hendrik Lopez. 16-year-old Koyala showed why he's such an exciting prospect, holding nothing back as he charged the building swells with that dynamic riding style. But the Cape Verdean ripper Hendrik Lopez wasn't giving in easily. Spain's Xavi Kor pushed hard too, driving through some big carves and trying to impress the judges with some pops on the wave to boost his scores. Not to be outdone, Koyala matched the Spaniard and took the win.
I want to become a world champion in waves. I've been training really hard at home and I have a lot of tricks on the pocket to show.
Title contender and Cape Verde event winner Wesley Brito looks to be on top form. His powered surfing and 360s were impressive. But he was up against strong rivals, including France's Julien Boyer, who was also in the hunt for a result. His compatriot Alan Fedde is a top surf freestyler, and he had no intention of going down quietly. But Brito, riding with power and flow in the critical section of the waves, demonstrated why he was one of the favourites for the title. His victory at the season opener on home waters gave him a leg up, and he started with a heat win in Dakhla to advance in the competition. The next heat saw some of the event's most exciting riders going head-to-head, with Cash Pazzola, Camille Bouya and Gregorio Pugliese facing off. Hawaii-based Pazzola quickly demonstrated his electrifying style, showing why he's one of wingfoiling's brightest new talents. His pace, style and fluency in the wave were a breath of fresh air, even in such a young sport. Pazzola powered through the swells that are similar to those of his home spots on Maui, where the 17-year-old learned his trade. Combined with his aerial moves, it was enough to see him easily progress in the contest. One of the day's biggest heats featured current surf freestyle world champion Malo Ganole. He was also the winner of the last round of the wave discipline in Rio de Janeiro. It marked out the 18-year-old as a big threat to the title contenders, even though he was out of the running for the crown as he'd missed the season opener. His teammate and compatriot Bastien Escoffier did his best to keep Ganole in his sights. But it was the young Maui-based Canadian Finn Spencer who was the biggest challenge. He gave Ganole a run for his money and finished the heat less than 1 point behind the world champion. It was tight, but in the end Ganole won the battle with the biggest heat score of the day. Coming out of nowhere, Noi Koala, the young F1 rider from Corsica, hit the water with fire, putting on one of the best wave performances we've seen from him so far and setting the bar very high. Koala threw caution to the wind and attacked the waves with ferocity, linking those turns with power and fluency. Finn Spencer knew he had to do everything in his power to reel in his young rival. But Koala was on fire and cut loose, adding air 360s to his incredible surfing. The judges loved his riding, and he got the largest wave score of the competition up to that point, 9.07 out of a possible 10, and that helped him win the heat. Next to hit the water, Wesley Brito, the Black Mamba. He's one of our World Championship title contenders. He's hungry, he wants the title, and he's going out onto the water with his usual power. He threw down some big manoeuvres and carved some beautiful turns. His radical cutbacks, taking back and forth on the face, saw him break the fins out on the foil. The judges rewarded his endeavour with a huge 9.33 out of 10 for one wave. He was unquestionably one of the riders to look out for in Dakhla. Dutchman Chucho Nonot wasn't throwing in the towel easily though, and surfed the building swells with high energy. Brito's Air 360s on the face had already done the damage though, and he took the win. As afternoon turned to evening, Cash Bazzola, the young Maui athlete, hit the water against the Brazilian Vinny Martins. Bazzola was one of the dark horses coming into the competition, but everyone had their eye on him, and he opened with a couple of big moves. But as the heat progressed, Bazzola used all his experience in the waves, gleaned from his home breaks in Hawaii. He was all about innovation, and we saw manoeuvres that we'd just never seen before on these waves. Bazzola landed the first perfect 10-point ride of the competition, adding the highest heat combination score of 19.37.
It was good. I had fun, the wind was nice, there were some waves, so can't complain.
With his usual clinical and clean surfing, Hugo Marin attacked the swells, which were building as the cross-offshore wind picked up and held up the faces. Marin did most of his surfing in the pocket of the wave, making his cutbacks and bottom turns just ahead of the breaking wave. His powered and smooth surfing explained why he was a leading contender for the world title going into Dakhla after strong performances on the first two stops of the Wave Tour. Marin's beautiful riding ensured he advanced to the quarterfinals, keeping his bid for the World Championship title very much alive.
I'm not done yet. I'm gonna fight until the end, especially to beat Wesley. So yeah, I'm super happy about my result, and let's see tomorrow.
Unfortunately for Marin, he was defeated in the next round, ending his title hopes. That left the Cape Verdean charger Wesley Brito in pole position for the world title. A win in his quarterfinal heat would be enough to land in the title after his win at the opening stop in Cape Verde. Only the young Corsican No Koyala stood between Brito and the title. Koyala came out firing in the quarterfinal. Once again, he gave full voice to his thrilling surfing. The youngster's high-octane riding meant that he got in front of Brito on the scoreboard. Brito found himself trailing throughout the heat as the time ticked down, and it seemed the title could be slipping through his grasp as he surged for a wave to change his fortunes. The Cape Verdean's patience paid off, and he got the biggest set wave of the heat right at the end. He threw in a 360, and that gave him a 9-point wave score, and with it, the event win. And that win handed Brito the first ever Wave World title.
Man, there's a lot of things going through my head now. I just got out of my heat, and to be honest, I still don't feel it that I want it. But I'm gonna come to a point I know it's gonna hit me, but this is the best thing that ever happened for me on wingfoiling. So I'm really feeling really great, and really gonna still push and go for the next one.
Wesley Brito's celebrations were short-lived though, and he was soon back on the water for the semi-final, where he came up against an on-fire Cash Bazzola. The young American's pulsating style and massive variety of tricks were almost untouchable. Bazzola's pace and power mixed with the almost windsurfy style of his bottom turns were revolutionary. He mixed it up with 360s and pops off the faces of the waves that got him 9+ scores for his 2 counting waves. Brito pushed hard to stay in touch. But Bazzola was relentless, working the waves all the way into the bay. he was well clear of the newly crowned world champion by the finish and took the win to book a place in the grand final. The other semi-final was a battle of the French teenagers, Marlo Guenolé and Axel Gerard. Guenollé's strong surfing background was immediately evident. Combined with his surf freestyle prowess, it allowed him to mix it up with air tricks. Guenolé forged ahead on the scoreboard. But the 16-year-old Axel Gerard wasn't going to surrender. He showed that he is learning fast in the waves. As a regular on the podium at surf freestyle events, he is also comfortable in the air on faces. And Gerard's strong riding kept Guenolé in his sights throughout the thrilling heat. But it was undeniable that Guenolé's early 9.67 wave score had given him a strong platform. He piled on the pressure with wave after wave, and his heat total of 18.4 saw him through to the final. The final was a repeat of the last round in Rio de Janeiro, the two biggest hitters of the moment. The teenagers Marlo Guenolé and Cash Bazzola went toe-to-toe. Throughout the 25-minute final, the pair traded blows, throwing down exciting new moves that kept them locked together on the scoreboard. Bazzola's massive 9.57 wave score ensured he got his nose in front, but the Hawaiian athlete didn't stop there. As the sun dipped, his wave riding was enough to give even the most casual observer goosebumps. It was a stellar show, and the judges loved it. Unfazed, there was a big 9-point wave landed by Guenolé, which helped him close the gap to his rival on the scoreboard. The French teenager was keeping the pressure on. For his part, Bazzola just kept swinging, chalking up one big score after another as he slayed every wave. This teenager is an amazing prospect who has burst onto the wingfoil scene. His wave riding and innovation are almost unparalleled. With his pace and drive, he made extreme cutbacks and fluid carves that belies both his youth and slight stature. Bazzola's moves on the wave just kept piling up points and left one of the best in the world, Guenolé, playing catch-up. Put simply, this American shredder is driving this new discipline to ever greater heights with his sublime skill. Bazzola's remarkable performance gave him the win in Dakhla and avenged his defeat in Rio at the hands of Guenolé. But only 0.21 of a point separated the pair in the end. A deciding heat, truly worthy of a final.
The final wave stop here in Dakhla has been amazing. The waves are great. We've had wind all throughout the days that we've been competing, so can't ask for much more. The waves have been picking up throughout each day, and I couldn't be more happy. I've done 3 stops so far. I was in New Zealand for a freestyle comp and a little bit of racing, and then my next one was in Rio, which Malo actually beat me there. But I'm happy to do this wave event and take the win, even though it was by 0.2. A little too close for comfort, but we're gonna take it anyways and move on and focus on the next event.
Honestly, very disappointing to not win the final, but I mean, it's like that. It was super close. I'm happy with my performance. I'm not used to long waves like that. At home, it's pretty much a short break, so yeah, I'm pretty happy to get a solid result and to be back in this beautiful place with some long pitting rides, so yeah, stoked.
The third and final event in Dakhla wrapped up the wingfoil wave discipline's first year, and it was a fitting climax to an incredible season. The male and female athletes more than demonstrated that they had the skill and ambition to surf the challenging waves on a wingfoil. In doing so, the pioneers of this young sport in this even younger wave discipline are driving wingfoiling forward at barely inconceivable speeds. Dakhla, delivered good swells and strong breezes that were a perfect platform for the final showdown of the year, where we crowned our first ever world champions. Once again, the young athletes proved what was possible on a wingfoil in waves and raised the bar. Who knows where this sport and this discipline will go? Join us again next year to find out.